that you're going to be signing up for surgery. We talk about, in my clinic, kind of a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C.
Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference. OrthoWisconsin.com.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Anti-Heartbreak Officer Brian Wickert. While national headlines talk about the inventory of homes for sale being a lot higher this year, that's still not the case in most of Wisconsin. The good news is that now, even in winter, AccuNet's experienced loan consultants are already helping many of our pre-approved home shoppers become homeowners and avoid the heartbreak of losing in a multi-offer situation. Sure, you can go with a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval, or you can present your offer with an AccuNet rock-solid, fully verified, and guaranteed pre-approval that also might come with the phrase that really makes sellers happy: no appraisal required. When an appraisal is needed, we can also show you in dollars and cents what it means to willingly pay a certain dollar amount over the appraised value if that's what's needed to win, which is usually a lot less scary than people imagine. Reduce your risk of home shopper heartbreak by getting started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Finding the special healthcare resources families need just got easier. Wisconsin Wayfinder Children's Resource Network helps kids with delays, disabilities, special healthcare needs, and mental health conditions. Call toll-free 877-947-2929. Ask questions. Get answers. Connect today toll-free 877-947-2929. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
Your trusted and relevant source for news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 1 o'clock. I'm Greg Matzik, and it's 8 degrees in Milwaukee. Cold weather advisory begins at midnight, runs through 10 o'clock Wednesday for all of southeastern Wisconsin, a high of just 10 degrees today. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, it's Decision Wisconsin, Election Day.
Today's spring primary will narrow down the candidates for State Superintendent of Public Instruction. Incumbent Jill Underly is seeking a second four-year term. Looking to unseat her are Jeff Wright, Superintendent of the Sauk Prairie School District, and Brittany Kinzer, an education consultant and founder of a state literacy initiative. In Milwaukee, 8 candidates are competing to represent District 3 to represent Jonathan Brostoff, who died in November. In Kenosha, voters will decide a $115 million school referendum. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Polls remain open till 8 o'clock tonight. Voters in line by 8 o'clock will be eligible to cast their ballot. Meanwhile, in Milwaukee,
I take a dim view of elected officials thinking that they're above the law. They're not, at least in this court. So this is going to get resolved.
Strong words from Milwaukee County Judge David Borowski on the issue of school resource officers. He ordered SROs return to MPS buildings within the next 10 days, and for MPS and the city of Milwaukee to split the costs 50-50.
If they're not in the schools in the next 10 days, I will set a hearing and we will take up sanctions, contempt of court, and the allocation of all actual costs to the plaintiff's attorney to the plaintiff.
The next hearing is set for 10 o'clock the morning of February 27th. A Waukesha alderman with a history of criminal convictions is back in custody after allegations of stalking from an ex-girlfriend.
Corey Payne was arrested Monday after a former girlfriend reported he had been harassing her for several weeks, knew her whereabouts, and would not stop contacting her. Payne has prior convictions for misdemeanor battery and disorderly conduct stemming from 2023 allegations of slapping an elementary school-aged child in the leg. Payne's current term as District 15 alderman in Waukesha runs through April of this year. It's unclear if Payne will continue serving as alderman while the investigation plays out. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Authorities confirmed that 19 of the 21 people involved in the Delta plane crash in Toronto Monday have been released from the hospital. Remnants of the plane will stay on the runway as authorities continue to investigate. Toronto Pearson Airport President and CEO Deborah Flint praised the heroism of the flight crew.
Every time you board a flight, you are greeted by flight attendants and by flight crew often. It's their job to make us comfortable and confident about the flight ahead, and they do an incredible job with that. The crew of Delta Flight 4819 heroically led passengers to safety, evacuating a jet that had overturned on the runway. I thank each and every one of these heroes.
All 80 people on board the flight survived. Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow lagging about 110 points today at 44,440. NASDAQ is off about 56 points at 19,970. S&P 500 bouncing back and forth, currently down just a little less than a point at 6113. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Financial planning at every level. For details, visit annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 1:04.
Grab your to-do list and head to Fleet Farm for Project Days, happening now through the 26th. Carhartt fans get a free $20 gift card with every $100 worth of Carhartt gear. Good on your next Fleet Farm purchase. Sprout Sweet Mix for horses and livestock is just $8.99 a bag. And save $50 on a Milwaukee M18 Compact Brushless Drill Driver Kit, now only $149. Don't miss Project Days for great buys on all things DIY at Fleet Farm, home of the best prices guaranteed.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community. From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news, online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
This change has leveled us up while being able to maintain the same quality of service that we've always provided, with no upfront fees and 1.9% real estate commission. We're proud to be part of the Century 21 family, so you can move fearlessly with the added confidence of top-of-the-line marketing for maximum home exposure. And that means more eyeballs and the real potential for the highest price for your home. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. First off, our 1.9% commission structure helps get their foot in the door, and that's why agents like working here. But what they really like is having the strongest marketing tools available, with the resources to help them sell homes at the highest prices to satisfy their clients. Century 21 Benefit Realty offers what agents like most, and that's to help them be successful. If you really want to believe in the business model that you're representing, give me a call. I'm Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Call me, and let's talk about your future. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Full squad workout number one for the Brewers today at the Spring Training Complex in Arizona. Our first Cactus League broadcast is scheduled for Saturday afternoon against the Reds. College basketball tonight, 16th ranked Marquette hosting Seton Hall for an 8 o'clock tip. Hear the game on 94.5 ESPN. And the 11th-ranked Wisconsin Badgers continue Big Ten play tonight at the Kohl Center against Illinois. Wisconsin remains in the hunt for a Big Ten title, just 2 games back of first-place Michigan. Badger Sports Updates, sponsored by Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more. Taking a look at your roads, a WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic Update. Incident 41 northbound at the ramp from 94. The right shoulder is blocked due to a disabled vehicle. Volume pretty light in that area. Not too much to worry about in terms of getting around. You're moving fine. In fact, the only delay, just a slight one here, 43 southbound from Brown Deer to downtown. Run you about 2-minute delay, 13 minutes today if you're on that stretch.
Traffic is sponsored by the famous Fox and Hounds restaurant near Holy Hill.
Buy one dinner, get one free tonight at the historic Fox and Hounds Supper Club, including steak and lobster. And desserts are buy one, get one free. Tables are open, foxandhoundsrestaurant.com.
Cold weather advisory cranks back up at midnight, runs through 10 o'clock Wednesday morning for all of southeastern Wisconsin. High of 10 today, wind chills anywhere from 5 to 25 below. Clear tonight, very cold inland temperature, a low of 8 below zero. Wednesday, a high of 14. Thursday, up to 23. Friday's high, 25. Right now, it's 5 degrees in Madison, 8 in Green Bay, 9 in Waukesha, 8 at the Avenue. I'm Greg Matzik. Siding Unlimited. WTMJ News Time is 1:08.
65,498 square miles. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get to it. This is Spanning the State, and here are your hosts, Kristin, Brey, and Brian Noonan.
Good afternoon. I'm back.
Yeah, look who's back.
It's cold. I have a cold. It's February every way you cut it.
Yeah, going on a vacation and then getting sick is, well, it sucks. That's a very, very simple way to put it.
It's there's things that are worse. But it's not fun.
No.
But I'm here.
Well, welcome back.
And, it's days like this that you probably wished that you requested your absentee ballot because it is indeed Election Day.
Yes.
And it's also indeed 7 degrees and feels like negative 30.
What do you think it is in here?
Here's in the studio, I'm actually fine. It's
freezing in here.
Oh, you think it's freezing? It's nowhere near how tropical it was last week when you were out.
Yeah, that was the one day. It's been cold.
I'm fine. I'm fine in here right now.
All right.
But yes, it is Election Day. Polls are open until 8 p.m. The only statewide race that everyone will see on their ballot is the superintendent race between the superintendent of public instruction between incumbent Jill Underly, and she is being challenged from the left by Jeff Wright, and also Brittany Kinzer, who is an education consultant and advocate who is being backed by Republicans. So that is on there. And did you know, Brian, I found this out today, Wisconsin is the only state where voters elect the top education official. And there's no state board of education.
I didn't know that, but now that you mention it.
Because what do they do in Illinois?
It's the State Board of Education.
Do people elect the state board?
No.
They're appointed?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Huh. What do you know about that?
I didn't know that we were the only state that does it like that.
Any predictions? Do you want to go in the prediction business? Who's going to make it to the big
My
the general?
prediction would be Underly and Kinzer.
Oh, okay.
That's my prediction.
Okay.
But I don't know. Just because I feel like, but this kind of gets to the point. So we're going to get to the point as far as publicity of the race in a second. But just as a quick rundown, other local races we're keeping an eye on. My aldermanic district, district number 3 in Milwaukee, there's 8 different candidates vying to for Jonathan Brostoff's seat. There's a Kenosha referendum for operational funds. And so just as a reminder, this is the primary. So there's lots of places that don't have it. When there's only 2 candidates, there is no primary. So any race that has 3 or more candidates will be on your ballot today. But then the 2 top candidates will go on to the spring general election, which is April 1st, which that you're going to have a harder time ignoring. I feel like today maybe caught a lot of people off guard.
Yeah.
Of the February spring primary. A lot of people aren't necessarily thinking about voting. It's been a very short time since the last time we had to go vote. People are exhausted. But given the amount of money that's going to be dumped into the marquee top of the ticket race for the April 1st election, which is, of course, Wisconsin Supreme Court, it just makes me wonder about, as much as we hate money in politics, and I think you ask the average person and everyone bemoans it, of the unleashed amount of spending that happens in even nonpartisan races, or, the state Senate seat from last November between Dewey Strobel and Senator Habish. Oh, now I'm totally blanking on her name. See, this is the cold.
Yeah.
But, it was hundreds of thousands, if not over $1 million for a seat that makes, $70K a year. And so that's what I think about today, even though there is a primary for the DPI race. I don't feel like most people even know who the candidates are, what they do. And it comes back to wondering, like, as much as we hate money in politics, does it ultimately move the needle and increase turnout?
Well, that'll be interesting because there was the story today that we're going to use as our jumping off point about a political action committee backed by Elon Musk that is pumping a lot of money into the Supreme Court race. This is after another huge GOP donor pumped about the same amount of money into that race. And to the point about the DPI, it doesn't have the same allure as the Supreme Court race. If you don't have kids in school, if your kids are all done with school, you might not. It's an important job, but it might not be important unless you're going to be affected by it. The perception is that everybody will be affected by the Supreme Court race, so people are going to be a little more interested. Also, the 2 big parties are very interested, so they're going to be, the parties and their donors will be pumping a lot of money in. And I think when we're going to share something with the listeners, just the the dollar amount and how it's changed so quickly in just the last few years for a race that I know we keep hammering on this point is supposed to be nonpartisan.
Mm-hmm.
It's a judge, a justice. You're supposed to just look at the law, but we all know that that's a fallacy.
Absolutely. All right, so we will get to all of that after this on Spanning the State.
Hey Bucks fans, it's Justin Garcia from the Bucks Radio Network, here to tell you about the launch of the Bucks Central podcast feed. Everything Bucks, on demand, in one spot. From sideline to sideline, hear all the ankle-breaking, rim-rattling, and twine-tingling highlights, exclusive interviews, and more. Subscribe to the Bucks Central podcast feed wherever you get your podcasts. All the Bucks content your heart desires in one spot. Check out the Bucks Central podcast feed.
Basement. Water leaks, cracks in the walls. Had them, have them. What do I do? Who can I trust?
I'm here to help. This is your Fix-It host, David Nason, with expert advice for my listeners. There's only one company I trust with basements, and that's my friends at Accurate Basement Repair. That's Accurate Basement Repair. And you know what? You're going to get a free expert evaluation on me. Just tell them David Nason, the Fix-It guy, told me to call. Again, that's Accurate Basement Repair. Check them out at accuratebasementrepair.com.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Brian Noonan here for Milwaukee Weight Loss. Man, this is unbelievable. I've been on the weight loss journey for about 5 weeks. I've already lost 29 pounds and 5 inches from around my waist. It is the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day. It's a doctor's developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program. It helps you lose weight fast, naturally, and safely. No drugs or injections, no risk of serious side effects. You're eating your own food. There's no prepackaged meals to buy, no bars, no shakes, no exercise required if you don't want. The program helps you reset your metabolism. I don't know how that works, but trust me, it's working. You can keep the weight off for good with a coach for ongoing support. The program costs up to half as much and works twice as fast as most other programs. And if you're like me, quick results are key to motivation. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com and schedule your free consultation. Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. Look at me. I'm no different than you. It's working for me. It can work for you. And it is crazy watching your body lose a pound a day. Schedule your free consultation by calling 262-449-1180 or online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
There are a lot of interesting people and traditions in Wisconsin. 1 hour of covering culture and creativity in our state is simply not enough. I'm Sandy Max of WTMJ's What's on Tap with the happy news that my show is now expanded to 2 hours. So please join me weeknights from 6 till 8 for updates on festivals, films, food, music, theater, and other ways we love to make the most of Wisconsin life. What's on Tap with Sandy Max weeknights now from 6 till 8 on WTMJ. And subscribe to the What's on Tap podcast to listen anytime you want.
Would eat Kraft dinner. Of course we would. We just eat more.
Tell you, if I had $1 million, I would be giving it to a political campaign, but that is not the case here in Wisconsin. It's Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan.
And I am Kristin Brey, and today is indeed the spring primary. So don't forget to get out there and vote. Polls are open till 8 p.m., but you may have forgotten. Maybe not if you listen to this station, because I think we do a pretty good job of trying to remind people.
Yes.
But I certainly got some texts this morning after I shared to my Instagram story to remind people to go vote. And I had some DMs back saying, what are we voting for?
Yeah, for what?
And there is a statewide vote today for the superintendent of instruction. But it begs the question. So I made this argument back in 2023. So when there was the last Wisconsin Supreme Court race. And that there was a primary for that. There was 4 people, 2 on the right, 2 on the left. And I felt like there was, going into the primary, a lot more talk.
Right.
I don't even want to say more news coverage, but it just felt like there, and we also didn't have a Donald Trump inauguration and, blitz of news. Yeah. But there felt like there was more attention going into the primary in 2023 than there is, even though we have a primary for this other statewide race. And I had made the argument back in 2023, which I think a lot of people don't necessarily want to admit, because I think most of us bemoan how much money has influenced politics, from the presidential race all the way down to assembly and state senate races and our Supreme Court races. But on the flip side, can you make the argument that this much money in politics impacts turnout? Because you can't, especially when you're in a swing state and the races are this close, you can't avoid turning on the TV, turning on YouTube, turning on the radio, getting ads for the race. So it's harder to claim ignorance that you just didn't know that the election was happening when there is that much money to be reminding you all the time in every different medium. Hey, don't forget to vote. Vote for this person, vote for this person, vote for this person. So even though I would still rather not have all this money in the race, can you argue that it does at least get people out?
I don't know, because if you look at it, it definitely raises awareness. You're going to know because I'm sure the Supreme Court commercials are going to start pretty soon. And they've
already started.
Well, and they'll ramp up with all the new monies coming in. So everybody will know who's running. Does that necessarily translate to getting people out? Because if you look at the November election, there's no denying that everybody knew exactly who was running. We had seen commercials nonstop for both candidates for president, and yet our turnout was still lower.
Than what?
Than 2020.
No, it's nationwide. In Wisconsin, it was actually higher
by 1%. 1.1 according to Ballotpedia. So it was 1.1% higher. In the rest of the swing states, the majority of swing states, it was down. Nationwide, it was down. So the argument could be made that no, all that money didn't affect turnout. You know, it affects awareness, but it doesn't get them out.
So this is the difference if we talk about, because presidential races are one thing. So in the difference between 2019 and the Hagedorn race, where it was a record at that point of how much money they had spent.
Right.
And it was $3.7 million. And there was 1.2 million votes cast. Fast forward to 2023, there was $51 million spent for the Supreme Court race, which obviously is a lot more. Is a lot more.
I'm not a math major, I'll agree with you.
And it was 1.84 million people voted. So it's a big uptick in how many more people voted. It's still a far cry from what we see in presidential race years. So in 2024, it was 76% turnout for Wisconsin. But
was that turnout in 2023's Supreme Court race based on the amount of money spent, or the fact that there was a huge national issue for women?
Yeah.
And so that, I would argue that drove the turnout more than campaign advertising, because there were people on both sides who were really motivated by that U.S. Supreme Court decision to get out and vote and try to either change Wisconsin Supreme Court or keep it on a different track.
And it's hard to parse those two out, right? Because both happened. And I guess this time around, there's certainly going to be probably more spending. I think we're on track for it to be higher than it was in 2023. And the question is there the same motivation that compares with, at that time, an 1849 abortion ban that was in place as far as how practitioners were acting. Right. And so now there's Act 10. Abortion still isn't totally off the it hasn't been decided. What are the other big ones that are still in waiting? But I don't know if there's that same fervor that there was in 2023.
It doesn't seem like there's one issue that's galvanizing as many people as the abortion issue did back then. So I don't know if that's going to get as many people out. Now, again, we'll know everything about these two candidates based on their advertising. We'll know what their campaign wants us to know. If it's a day like this, that's going to affect.
If it's a day like this, it certainly would impact turnout. Yeah. And another thing, I want to take a break, and another thing that I'm wondering how it will impact turnout for April 1st is the Elon Musk of it all. Will he help or will he hurt? But he is definitely putting his 2 cents into this race. So we're going to talk more about that after this.
She's different and special, and loaded with personality.
And there's one more thing, but you can't explain it in words.
She's the one.
She's the one.
The one.
You know it.
Your friends know it.
The whole world knows it.
We curated a special selection of engagement rings for her.
Can you guess what we call it?
We call it the One Collection by Kessler's.
Because these engagement rings are different.
And special.
And loaded with personality.
And one more thing. But you can't explain it in words.
Engagement rings in the One Collection start at just $725.
But some of them are more.
A lot more.
But we've got you covered.
First, we have 12 months financing at 0%. Or
second, we have 36 months financing at 9.99%, both with approved credit.
Third, we have second chance financing if you need someone to give you a second chance.
And don't forget the Kessler's warranty.
The strongest warranty of any jewelry store in the world.
For the location of the Kessler's nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Are you sick of not being your bank's top priority? We are too. At Wintrust, we take a different approach to banking. We're proud to be your one true banking partner focused on your unique financial goals. That's right in your backyard. Whether you're opening your first account, buying a home, planning for the future, or starting a business, we have tailored solutions to get you there. Stop settling and start experiencing a better way to bank at Wintrust.com. Wintrust, different approach, better results. Banking products provided by Wintrust Financial Corp Banks, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
Love is in the air at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. This February, play to your heart's content in the Love It or Leave It $300,000 game show. Thursday night, you could love your prize or leave it for another. For a chance to cuddle up to thousands in cash and prizes, just play using your rewards card. Get ready to love it or leave it. Only at Potawatomi. Learn more at paysbig.com. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. You want to know the price of a new roof on your home today? Well, it's easy. Just go to TriCountyContractingWI.com, click on the Instant Roof Quote button, put in your address and email, click the Show My Roof Price, and there you go. Zero wait time. There's your quote. You shop online for everything else. Who says you can't shop online for a new roof? Tri-County Contracting at WI.com. It's worry-free roofing, siding, and windows. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com.
We're back in Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan.
And I am Kristin Brey, and we're talking about money and politics, because of course we are. And so before we were talking about, does the amount of money that is now in races impact what turnout it is? I still kind of think it does, just because it becomes, if you don't know,
right?
It's a lot of, there's a lot of people who don't know that there is an election today, and there hasn't been that much money spent on any of the elections today. Although if you do live in the East Side and you're in the Aldermanic District 3 for Milwaukee, there actually has been a fair amount of ads between a lot of door knocking,
things in the door.
I've been getting a lot of text messages because there's 8 candidates. But anyways, and so what we know for sure is that there's going to be a lot of money spent on the Wisconsin Supreme Court race, of which is going to be April 1st. There is no primary for that because there's only 2 candidates. Now, you might have remembered that Elon Musk, a month or so ago, within the last month, tweeted out or X'd out or whatever the verb is, to support Brad Schimmel in this race. Now, an Elon Musk-backed group called Building America's Future has purchased over $670,000 in TV ads. That number will likely go up. This was on top of Richard Uihlein and his wife, who've already donated $650,000 to the Republican Party. But my bigger question is, because we know it's going to be a lot of money, with having someone like Elon Musk starting to weigh in, and I feel like the public polling on Elon Musk is starting to turn more negative for him. Will he cause more hurt, or more? Will he help or hurt Schimmel's race?
Well, I'm sure there are people who just out of reflex will say it's going to help because Elon is part of the administration. They're doing all this stuff. But if you look back, there were a number of elections, primaries, and generals that the president went and endorsed people, and they did not work. I think if more people have a negative opinion of Elon and his name, even though this is a dark money group and he's he backs it, but his name isn't on it. But people will know because
there's already articles about it, right?
There's already articles, and I'm sure it's going to be the focus of a lot of commercials from the other side.
Mm-hmm.
That could be enough to turn not everybody, but enough people to throw the balance off and affect the election.
Well, and I think it'll also just be interesting because if he starts meddling in this race, because by the time we have the general election, the general spring election on April 1st, it'll be just over 100 days, the first 100 days of this administration.
Right.
And because where we're at as far as it being conservative versus progressive or liberal and Republicans backing one candidate and Democrats backing the other, even though it's a nonpartisan race, does this become the first, referendum on this administration because they have backed the conservative candidate? If public perception is there's too much, too fast, too many things have broken.
Well, and if you get any voters in Wisconsin who lose their job because they're federal workers, any of that, if farmers start to say, the policies aren't really benefiting, any of those things can happen. And when it comes down to real money in your pocket, people will vote that way. And if they perceive Elon Musk being the cause of programs being cut that directly affected them, that could sour them on the candidate.
And I also just wonder, because I feel like Wisconsin loves Wisconsin, and we don't necessarily love outsiders. I think you can probably make the case to a certain extent as far as the last two big name Republican candidates for statewide office being Tim Michels and Eric Hovde. And a big slight against them was that, do they even live here? And so, yet to be seen, but certainly something we will continue to follow. Make sure you go vote. But first, ABC News and local headlines.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The Vatican says Pope Francis has been diagnosed with pneumonia in both lungs. Initially, the 88-year-old pontiff was hospitalized to be treated for bronchitis, but tests revealed that the more serious infection to the lungs. A U.S. delegation met with Russian officials today in Saudi Arabia. The Trump administration calls it the first step in talks to end the war in Ukraine. But Ukraine and European allies were not at the table. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt says it's a start.
The way that you solve a problem is you talk to both sides of that problem, and that's exactly what this administration is doing. And I think that it's a step that our European allies and Americans and everybody around the world should be embracing.
President Trump called it a milestone. In Canada, the investigation continuing into the Delta plane that flipped over after landing at Toronto Pearson Airport yesterday. Authorities say 19 of the 21 hospitalized have been released, and there were no fatalities. The cause is still unknown. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 1:31 from the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom. I'm Greg Matzik. A toddler is dead after a shooting late Monday near 39th and Sheridan on Milwaukee's north side. 4-year-old Janadia Little of Milwaukee died of her injuries at the hospital. Police are ruling her death as a homicide. 2 people are in custody. The shooting, one of 2 overnight in the city. The other near 49th and Hope. That victim is expected to survive. No one is in custody connected to that shooting. No charges against officers in a Chippewa County death. The district attorney found that deputies acted in self-defense after responding to a domestic disturbance back in December of 2025 in the town of Lafayette. 49-year-old Matthew Luke of Chippewa Falls fled the scene after firing multiple rounds at the home. He later crashed his vehicle, then fired at police, hitting one squad car and then an armored truck. Police returned fire, killing Luke in the process. The DA says officers acted with necessary force, especially since the police shootout happened in a residential area. That disturbance back in December of 2021 in the town of Lafayette. And Governor Tony Evers delivers his biennial budget address tonight in Madison. The governor has already laid out several of his spending priorities, including more than $500 million to support child care for working families and an additional $500 million to reform the state's correctional system. Republican leadership will issue their response to the address immediately after. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow trailing nearly 200 points today at 44,377. NASDAQ is up about 70 at 19,958. S&P 500 continues to bounce back and forth, currently down about 5 points at 6109. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Financial planning at every level. For details, visit annexwealth.com. Taking a look at your roads here on a chilly Tuesday afternoon. Got a disabled vehicle 41 northbound at the ramp from 94. Right shoulder is blocked. Not a ton of volume in that area. You should be able to move around without much issue. Just a 2-minute delay if you're driving southbound on 43 from Brown Deer to downtown. That's through the construction zone. Otherwise, light volume equaling easy travel times today. Cold weather advisory begins at midnight, goes through 10 o'clock Wednesday morning for all of southeastern Wisconsin. Wind chills today anywhere from 5 below to 25 below, a high of 10 degrees. Overnight low air temperature is 8 below zero. Wednesday's high 14, Thursday 23, 25 your high on Friday. Right now in Madison it's 5 degrees, Green Bay 8, Waukesha 9, and 8 at the Avenue. I'm Greg Matzik. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 1:34.
Now's your chance. Tackle those bigger projects with an 11% rebate on everything at Menards. Transform your home with a new Dakota closet. Build your dream bathroom and save on luxury tubs and showers. Customize your kitchen with Clearview cabinetry. Or start your big garage project. Get an 11% rebate on everything at Menards. 11% mail-in rebate is a merchandise credit check. Good on future in-store purchases. See Menards.com for details.
Save big money at Menards.
When you work at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, you'll be helping us help others. There are many that need our help, and we need your help to carry out our mission. St. Vincent de Paul is always looking for part-time team members. You'll get competitive pay, benefits, and flexibility in scheduling. So apply online at svdpmilw.org or stop by Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, or 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Do you know or work with kids who have special healthcare needs? Help them live their best lives. Contact Wisconsin Wayfinder Children's Resource Network. Our specialists will connect you with services in your area. Wisconsin Wayfinder is free and confidential. Call 877-947-2929 or visit dhs.wi.gov/WISCWAY. Connect today. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Looking to escape the winter chill? Fox World Travel has you covered. Whether it's an all-inclusive vacation with Apple Vacations, a luxurious Princess Cruise, or a European adventure with Globus and Avalon, we create unforgettable experiences just for you. Enjoy last-minute deals, exclusive offers, and personalized itineraries. From booking to boarding, we handle all the details for a stress-free trip. Ready to get out of the cold? Call 866-GO-FOX-GO and mention code RADIO to start planning your getaway today.
Hey, it's time for Giving Tuesday, where we introduce you to Wisconsin people and organizations that are advocating for causes and doing good across the state. Now, Brian, you've heard the term brain drain before.
I
correct?
have. All the smarties take it off.
All the smarties when you leave, when you foster talent and good people, and then they leave. Yeah. And so one of the things that people certainly in Wisconsin and definitely in Milwaukee want to do is retain talent. So Social X MKE has been trying to address that exact problem for over 10 years by engaging Millennial and Generation Z in out-of-the-box social events by exposing them to the city's hidden gems and curating community-centric conversations that impact their day-to-day lives. So here to talk more about Social X MKE is Tania Smith, who is the Director of Health and Wellness for Social X. Welcome to the show, Tania.
Thank you for having me, guys.
So tell us the origins. Like I said, it's been over a decade.
Yeah.
You were one of the founding members. No?
I was not.
Oh, you're not one of the founding. But you've been involved for almost 10 years, right?
So I feel like I am.
Yeah.
I was a founding member of FEAR, so like the Health and Wellness Program. That is my baby, but no, I was not there from the get-go. But I know the story.
So tell us the story.
Yes. So it originated with there's nothing to do in Milwaukee, womp, 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 but there is. So a couple people got together. Only one is really still actively involved, Rennell Washington. They got together and they decided to start just simply by hosting happy hours each week or each month. So they would host those, and those took off. And then I kind of came into the fold in 2015. We added some pillars, and now we have advanced to a health and wellness pillar, talent and retention, community give back, all that stuff. So it grew from just small happy hours to now even reaching further within the community and digging deeper.
How do you go about the outreach to get people to come and to get involved?
Yeah, so a lot of it is through social media. So that is how we attract a lot of people, stuff like this. Thank you for having me. Word of mouth, and then our events speak for themselves. So once you come to an event, you're kind of hooked and you want to try to get involved and learn more and attend more events.
I've been to some events and they're wonderful. But so if the original mission was to try to impact brain drain, how do you feel like the organization measures that impact as far as trying to get people to invest and stay in Milwaukee?
Well, I don't know if there is like a true measurement of that, but us being able to see the same people, what we would want to see is these people that have joined us in 2013 years ago. Now that they have families and they're married and they have kids, they're still attending the events just in a different capacity, or maybe they're leading some of our professional development sessions or anything like that. So as long as we keep seeing those same faces and seeing them grow, I think that's a win. Even attracting talent. So we've had people come from all over the nation and hear about Social X and attend. So that's a huge kudos to us. We are like the hub. They know to get in contact with or connect with other people of color in Milwaukee. We are the hub for that, and that is how that web will kind of be like spread throughout Wisconsin.
What would you like to see the city do to increase not only retaining talent, but as you just said, attracting new talent?
Absolutely. Be frank, we need money, y'all.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so any of the events that you hear about, you're like, I have so much money, I want to help them, let me know. But yeah, we're doing this off of, the strength of us loving Milwaukee. The three people that are involved, Marquela Ellison, she's the president, myself, and then, as I mentioned earlier, Renell Washington, we're all born and raised in Milwaukee. That is a gem. We are very special. I'm going to toot our own horn for that. We offer something that no one else can give you, is something authentically Milwaukee. So just by tapping in with us, and we need help from the city, the county, anybody to help us further our mission with money is always appreciated, but also just like that support.
Here's a question as far as being a millennial and starting to get involved when you were in your 20s, right?
Yeah.
Late 20s. How much do you see a difference between the millennials that you still want to build events for versus like what Gen Z wants at events?
Oh, yeah. It is a struggle. We are hitting that like right now.
Okay.
Especially with my life changing. Like I just got married and I want to have a family, and we have a stepson. So it's like teetering that line of like, okay, I can make the happy hour, but I don't know if I can make, the party, or I have to leave at this time. You know what I'm saying? So we are literally teetering the line and giving, we're trying to make it accessible to the Gen Z, like the kids who want to, the kids that want to, party and still are entering that kind of professional phase. So we want to help them with that networking and getting them connected, because as cliche, the children are our future. So we have to help uplift them. I'm not going to be around forever running this stuff. I can't. So we need to uplift them, and we need to show them that there's a fun side, and then this is how we can like segue you into kind of like the professional development and like the networking and connecting. So like our wellness events, those are more towards professional development and helping those. And then, like I said, when we start to have those parties and whatnot, that kind of taps the Gen Zers a little bit.
All right.
Well, what do you got coming up? What kind of events?
Lots of events.
We have so many that I had to have a little cheat sheet. I didn't want to miss anything. So this Wednesday, we have our men's wellness event ran by Renell Washington. It is our men's wellness event. It is so important. Men do not talk about their mental well-being enough. So at Rise and Grind at 5:30 p.m. is that. Our literacy hour is at my school, so I like to plug that, at Greater Holy Temple Christian Academy. You can come read to the babies, or you can come give like a presentation or just love on them. I mean, God, they love seeing other adults that are not their teacher. They love their teacher, but they just go crazy when it's somebody else that comes in. So that is next week, February 25th, 8:30. And then our wind down is at Dream Lounge Social, which is that is how everything started with Social X. So that's our networking event. And that is going to be in Bronzeville from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. And I love that we connected with Dream Lounge Social because this is how great Milwaukee is. One of the owners, Joa Tucker, played basketball for UWM while I ran track there. So then that's how we got to know each other. And we're still connecting. He comes to Run with Fear, and now we can, still help him flourish his business. So I'm excited about that.
And then also inspire her, right?
Yes. So then if we go into March for Women's History Month, we have Hot Girl Karaoke. That is March 7th at Revel. Hot Girl Karaoke is so fun. It does sound like a Gen Z thing, but it's for everybody. But these girls come ready. They can, this is not your karaoke where people can't sing. And even if you can, everybody will back you up. But they can rap. They put on a show. It's so fun. So that is at Revel, March 7th. And then Inspire Her, that is our women's wellness event. That is one of my babies. That is March 29th. You guys will be the first to hear. We have a huge A6 Olympian joining us. I know. Right. It broke right now. I didn't tell anybody else. So she will be joining us. So that is a huge deal. A global Olympian that just was in this past Olympics will be joining us.
She can't say her name yet?
I don't know if I could. Talia Brooks. So if you look her up, she is a heptathlete. So that's the person that does all those events you've seen. They can't even film them all, but they lawn jump, they do all kind of stuff. They do it all. So she'll be joining us in little old Milwaukee. As people just think we're so tiny, but look at us.
Look at us.
Look at us. So we will have an Olympian here that you can touch, feel within reason.
I was going to say, wow. Was that in her rider? You could touch me and, No, probably not.
In real life, you'll be able to see her, ask her questions. And we're also uplifting a bunch of great women right here in our community to help with that.
Awesome. Where can people get more information about all of these events and Social X?
So you can go on our website, socialxmke.com. Also, we're on every platform, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you guys call it. I don't know. Twitter, I'm a millennial, whatever. And TikTok, I don't know.
Are you guys on TikTok?
We are.
Oh.
Renell, shout out to Renell. Renell does all the TikTok stuff. Look, I'm an Instagram girly. So I do all that. But yeah, we are on TikTok.
Okay.
So, and Strava for runners. If you guys like Strava. So
there you
that
go.
thing.
Wow. All right. Well, Tania Smith, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here.
She is the Director of Health and Wellness for Social X. Check them out at socialxmke.com. And we'll be back after this.
If you know of a Wisconsin organization you would like highlighted on Giving Tuesday, email us at spanning@wtmj.com. We can always use a little help from our...
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
At the Milwaukee Auto Show, we have a vehicle for almost everything, and we certainly have a vehicle for your thing. The Auto Show has the largest selection of vehicles from different manufacturers all in one place. Baird Center, the 22nd through the 2nd. Buy tickets online, no added fees. AutoShowMilwaukee.com.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstad here. You've been dealing with it forever, right? That ankle pain or the back or knee pain. It was a nuisance at first, and you kind of just put up with it. Now it's nearly debilitating for you, and it's affecting everything you do. It's time to get rid of that. Let's get rid of that pain that's always just kind of been there. You don't even remember how long it's been now. Call QC Kinetics. Groundbreaking treatments for arthritis pain, long-term relief. It is possible. Joint pain doesn't get better with time. So before it's absolutely debilitating, see if you're a candidate for this life-changing regenerative treatment. No painkillers, no surgery, no downtime. QC Kinetics regenerative treatments are sweeping the nation. Patients right here in Southeast Wisconsin. They have a location in Mequon and another in Greenfield. Call QC Kinetics today for your free consultation. And if it's easier on your schedule, they're even open on Saturdays. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics today.
So how would I describe our people? I'd say the people we set out to hire have to be smart, hardworking, and honest. Honesty being paramount of the three. Because honesty breeds integrity. And when you have integrity, you won't let yourself do anything less than your best. And that's who we're looking for. Character counts here, and integrity matters. That's why it's easy for us to offer the industry's best lifetime workmanship warranty with every roof we sell. A rock-solid warranty like ours guarantees our reputation and assures your satisfaction. At Semper we do the right thing. We seize the moral high ground and we hold it. And when you do that, you end up having a business that's going to last for generations. This is Brad Youngbluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
It's spanning the state, and all month we are grateful to Judge Derek Mosley because he publishes Black History Facts on his Facebook and Instagram, and then we are able to share those with you. So, Kristin, what do we have today?
Well, today we have a story about America's first EMT service, which is another one I did not know.
No.
So before the late 1960s, there was no designated first responders. Often it fell to firefighters, police officers, or even local funeral homes to transport patients.
That's not a good sign.
Then in 1967, Pittsburgh's inner city produced America's first EMT service. So it was comprised solely of black men and women recruited from the city's Hill District neighborhood. And the paramedics of Freedom House Ambulance Service, FHAS, became trailblazers in providing pre-hospital and CPR care.
Wow.
So FHAS initially conceived to respond to the needs of Pittsburgh's African-American community, who oftentimes couldn't rely on police and fire departments during an emergency. Their groundbreaking work became the basis for all paramedics training in the country. FHAS began by recruiting would-be paramedics from within the community, including many who had experienced long-term unemployment, Vietnam vets, and those with criminal records. Dr. Peter Safar designed a revolutionary 32-week training program that included 300 hours of anatomy, physiology, CPR, advanced first aid, nursing, and defensive driving instruction. Freedom House ambulances became the first emergency medical service in the United States to be staffed by paramedics with medical training beyond basic first aid. This included intubation, cardiac care, and IV drug administration. And then during its first year of operation, the FHAS responded to nearly 5,800 calls, transported more than 4,600 patients, and saved 200 lives. In 1975, when Pittsburgh instituted a citywide ambulance service, they incorporated the training regimen of the FHAS. Unfortunately, the black paramedics of the Freedom House Ambulance Service were excluded from the new citywide service, which was predominantly white. Freedom House Ambulance Service closed on October 15th, 1975, but left a legacy which has set the standard for all emergency medical services in the United States.
That's amazing. That is an amazing story. And then you look back at the end of that story, you go, oh, seriously, they did it again? Or we did it again? Or Pittsburgh leaders did it again?
Have you ever read or heard of The Sum of Us?
It sounds familiar, but I don't know.
It was a book I read a couple years ago. But it was basically it goes through all these different points, inflection points in American history, where we could have had nicer things. Like the one that always sticks out to me is public pools.
Okay.
And how at one point across America, it was very normal to have public pools instead of having to, have a membership.
Yeah.
And largely the reason we don't have public pools is when they tried to desegregate public pools. And a lot of people were like, we'd rather have no pool at all.
Wow.
And so it just goes through a lot of examples where like the opportunity to be cohesive and create something better for everyone was ruined by the fact that a core group wanted to continue to be exclusionary.
It shows you how powerful hate can be. Even against your own best interests, hate will win out sometimes.
Yeah, it's a really good book. So it's Heather McGee, The Sum of Us. I highly recommend it. But for now, when we come back, we will spin around the state on Spanning the State.
Be our eyes on the road. See something out there that I should know about?
On 894 North, just before the National Avenue exit, the right lane is closed. There's a medical emergency, it looks like.
Call me, Debbie Lazaga, on the WTMJ traffic tip line, 414-238-9329.
Hello, Debbie. 41 South, just before Capitol Drive. There are 2 cars involved in an accident.
The drive affects you. Why not be part of it? Give me a call, 414-238-9329.
Basement. Water leaks.
Cracks in the walls.
Had them, have them. What do I do?
Who can I trust?
I'm here to help. This is your Fix-It host, David Nason, with expert advice for my listeners. There's only one company I trust with basements, and that's my friends at Accurate Basement Repair. That's Accurate Basement Repair. And you know what? You're going to get a free expert evaluation on me. Just tell them David Nason, the Fix-It guy, told me to call. Again, that's Accurate Basement Repair. Check them out at accuratebasementrepair.com.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural hair products from New Nordic. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or CVS.
Traffic is brought to you by Rejuvenix, your non-surgical joint therapy experts.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Anti-Heartbreak Officer Brian Wickert. While national headlines talk about the inventory of homes for sale being a lot higher this year, that's still not the case in most of Wisconsin. The good news is that now, even in winter, AccuNet's experienced loan consultants are already helping many of our pre-approved home shoppers become homeowners and avoid the heartbreak of losing in a multi-offer situation. Sure, you can go with a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval, or you can present your offer with an AccuNet rock-solid, fully verified, and guaranteed pre-approval that also might come with the phrase that really makes sellers happy: no appraisal required. When an appraisal is needed, we can also show you in dollars and cents what it means to willingly pay a certain dollar amount over the appraised value if that's what's needed to win, which is usually a lot less scary than people imagine. Reduce your risk of home shopper heartbreak by getting started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Ready to tackle your home improvement project this winter? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. As a 5-time President's Club Award winner, Exterior Pros is not playing around. With flexible financing, it's never been easier to invest in your home without breaking the bank. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation today.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
You wake up feeling like you just boxed 12 rounds. Some wake up sweating with sore jaws, headaches, and a lot of our patients complain of brain fog. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula, and these signs, often joined with snoring, are sleep apnea symptoms. And if this sounds like you may have been in a struggle last night between you and this serious disorder. Many people aren't willing to fight back. But the fact is, you can't go through these nightly struggles without ramifications that each night chip away at your life's expiration date. I get it. You don't want to wear a CPAP mask. You may find out you don't need one. We have every effective sleep apnea solution available. And believe me, the mask is the last resort.
It's time to take action to stop your sleep struggle. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment
Because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
My name is Emma. I'm 25 years old, and I work at the Wisconsin Athletic Club. And I just love what I do here because I feel like I helped a lot of people. I hope that other kids can have a goal that they can move out and live independently too. I've had all these opportunities because somebody said yes to me.
Live life to the fullest with Thinkability Wisconsin, a resource hub that supports people with disabilities throughout their lives. Connect with a real-time navigator at thinkabilitywi.org today.
In 1964, we were making strides towards space travel.
Mary Poppins was the #1 movie in theaters.
And the Beatles were taking America by storm.
Which was long before I was born.
Facts. 1964 is also the year it all started for Richland's Tire and Service Centers. 60 years of continuous growth and more happy customers than you can shake a stick at.
Okay, the streamers are a bit overkill. It's just us in the studio.
All right. But it's important to know accomplishments like these aren't possible without a dedicated team. So hats off to them and our founder, my dad, Dick Matschke, for understanding the importance of customer focus.
Facts. There's no 60 years of anything without you, the customer, which is why our focus will remain on you and only you for years to come.
Thank you from all of us here at Richland's Tire and Service Centers.
Richland's Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richland's.
Warmer temps are on their way, which means it's time for the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin Spring Home Improvement Showcase on WTMJ. I love this. It's going to be fun. It's going to be informative. Get all the tips, the tricks, and the best practices to improve your home with our trusted partners, including J&J Contractors and Bruce's team at Realty Executives. It's the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin Spring Home Improvement Showcase. Going to be great. It's only here on WTMJ.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Stay up to date with your trusted and relevant source in news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It is 9 degrees. A cold weather advisory starts at midnight, goes until 10 a.m. tomorrow for all of southeast Wisconsin. Tonight, clear skies, very cold, 8 below inland. The wind chill will make it feel like 25 below. Tomorrow, flurries are possible, a high of 14 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm John Merkier. Decision Wisconsin. It's Election Day in Wisconsin.
Today's spring primary will narrow down the candidates for State Superintendent of Public Instruction. Incumbent Jill Underly is seeking a second four-year term. Looking to unseat her are Jeff Wright, Superintendent of the Sauk Prairie School District, and Brittany Kinzer, an education consultant and founder of a state literacy initiative. In Milwaukee, 8 candidates are competing to represent District 3 to replace Alderman Jonathan Brostoff, who died in November. In Kenosha, voters will decide a $115 million school referendum. Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Polls are open until 8 p.m. If you're in line by 8, you will be allowed to cast your ballot. A Milwaukee County judge giving Milwaukee Public Schools an extension to reinstate school resource officers, but says it must be done within 10 days.
But it comes with some specifics.
I'm just not going to give MPS another excuse to say, well, now we're going to need another month to find the officers to do the training. They can have the training be ongoing as they're in the schools.
And to settle the ongoing funding disputes, Judge David Borowski ordered MPS and the city of Milwaukee to split the cost in half. The district said in a statement, quote, MPS remains ready to implement a school resource officer program as soon as officers are made available, unquote. At the Milwaukee County Courthouse, Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
U.S. and Russian delegations wrapping up talks about ending the war in Ukraine, and Kiev and European nations have not been included in the talks. But at a news conference, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says these initial discussions are important. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio says at the top of the agenda for these conversations between the U.S. and Russia is restoring diplomatic missions in Washington and Moscow.
We haven't really had much engagement with the Russians for almost 3 years. And it sets the table for future conversations. How that turns out will be up to the parties and their willingness not just to make commitments, but to live by them.
Rubio said the U.S. and Russia would each appoint a high-level team to negotiate and work through the end of the war in Ukraine in what he says is a way that's enduring and acceptable to all parties. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
A senior Hamas leader says the militant group will release 6 living Israeli hostages on Saturday and the bodies of 4 others on Thursday. The surprise increase in releases is in return for Israel allowing long-requested mobile homes and construction equipment into the Gaza Strip. The 6 are the last living hostages set to be freed under the ceasefire's first phase. Time for news about your money. Here's the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Everything is in the red on this Tuesday. The Dow is down 118 points. The NASDAQ is off 48. The S&P is down 0.4%, I should say. So just about even. It's financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited News Time, 2:04.
Heart disease won't stop us. Diabetes won't slow us down. Allergies, high blood pressure, shoulder pain, cancer. Nothing will keep us from pushing Wisconsin ahead. Because with the Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network, forward progress is what we stand for. That means always pushing and always innovating. With new technologies and breakthrough treatments that make life better, whether we're sick or well. It means providing more convenience and more ways to receive medical excellence for all your health needs, for big and small. It means being there for you, our family, caring for yours. So let's keep raising the bar. Let's keep testing the limits of what medicine can do. Let's push ahead and make life here as great as it can be. Visit Freighter.com to find out how.
Grab your to-do list and head to Fleet Farm for Project Days, happening now through the 26th. Carhartt fans get a free $20 gift card with every $100 worth of Carhartt gear. Good on your next Fleet Farm purchase. Sprout Sweet Mix for horses and livestock is just $8.99 a bag. And save $50 on a Milwaukee M18 Compact Brushless Drill Driver Kit, now only $149. Don't miss Project Days for great buys on all things DIY at Fleet Farm. Home of the best prices, guaranteed.
Jewelry is everlasting. Each piece passes from generation to generation, gathering stories as it goes. Some have been waiting centuries for the right hands to hold them again. February 21st and 22nd, step into history at Rasmussen Diamonds in Racine. Explore an extraordinary collection of estate jewelry from the 1700s all the way to the 1960s. Each piece with a past, a mystery, a story waiting to be rediscovered. Don't miss out. The pieces at this rare 2-day event are all one of a kind, and once they're gone, they're gone. Rasmussen Diamonds in Racine.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. A full squad workout, the first one of the year for the Brewers today at the Spring Training Complex in Arizona. WTMJ's first Cactus League broadcast is scheduled for Saturday afternoon. And a big night of college basketball, 16th-ranked Marquette hosts Seton Hall. That's an 8 o'clock tip. The 11th-ranked Badgers continue Big Ten play tonight at the Kohl Center against Illinois. Wisconsin remains in the hunt for a Big Ten title, currently 2 games back of first-place Michigan. Badgers sports updates are sponsored by Siding Unlimited, siding, and a whole lot more. Checking out those roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic. Cold air doesn't mean bad roads. Pretty quiet out there. No incidents or delays to speak of. That WTMJ 5-day forecast, a cold weather advisory, starts at midnight and runs until 10 a.m. for all of southeast Wisconsin. Tonight, very cold air. 8 below your low inland. That's actual temperature. 25 below with the wind chill. Even below 0 along the lakefront. Tomorrow, cloudy, flurries, a high of 14. Thursday, partly cloudy, a high of 23. Friday, sunny, 25. On Saturday, partly cloudy, a high of 30 degrees. Right now in Madison, sunny skies and 7 degrees. In Green Bay, sunny and 10 degrees. In Milwaukee, lots of sunshine and 10 degrees. I'm John Mercure, Outdoor Living Unlimited News Time, 2:07.
It's time to take a spin around Wisconsin and find stories you might have missed. Here's Spinning the State on Spanning the State with Kristin, Brey, and Brian Noonan.
Well, you've been away from the wheel for 4 days. Are you ready to get back to it?
I'm ready.
All right.
Let's do this.
If you miss anything, you can always text SPIN, S-P-I-N, to the Siding Unlimited WTMJ Talk and Text line. It's 855-616-1620. Here we go.
Oshkosh. Oshkosh. All right. Well, I would imagine the life of any refugee is very hard. Being forced to leave your home and start over in a new country sounds awful, honestly. Yes. But recently, the Oshkosh Northwestern spoke to a member of one of two Congolese refugee families in Oshkosh who are feeling the effects of recent changes in immigration policies. The U.S. government indefinitely suspended the U.S. Refugee Admissions Program, issued a stop work order on all federally funded activities providing refugee resettlement, and froze billions of dollars in overseas humanitarian assistance. There was also a brief pause on federal grants that was eventually rescinded 2 days after it was initially issued last month. Refugees like Zawadi, the woman interviewed, rely heavily on resettlement agencies like Christian humanitarian organization World Relief, which relies heavily on federal grants and funding. According to Regional Director Gail Cornelius, World Relief Wisconsin is serving 125 new immigrants in the Fox Valley region alone, having already helped nearly 350 new residents in 2024. Zawadi's family is struggling to reunite as her husband remains in Zimbabwe, in a Zimbabwe refugee camp as a result of the suspension of the U.S. Refugee Resettlement Program. She is eligible for refugee cash assistance, but is unsure if recent executive orders will pause the program. Despite the difficulties, the families expressed gratitude for the kindness of individuals in Oshkosh and the support from local organizations.
Yeah, they got separated because she and her children went to the interview for to be a refugee. Her husband was working and was going to go to the next round of interviews, and then everything got shut down. And so he's still over there. Rough story, indeed. And again, this is a legal refugee. This is not the people that people are railing against. All right, let's spin it again.
Peshtigo.
We love Peshtigo. When we talk about catastrophic fires, people remember the Great Chicago fires, or more recently, the horrible wildfires in California. A lot of people forget about the 1871 Peshtigo fires that killed hundreds and burned thousands of acres. Well, Fourth Wall Films is going to try to change that. Fourth Wall Films has partnered with Wisconsin Humanities and the Peshtigo Historical Society to create Peshtigo American Firestorm. That's a good title. Kelly Rundy entered the entertainment industry in Los Angeles. He worked for Columbia Pictures, while his wife Tammy worked for the Los Angeles Magazine. After transitioning to filmmaking, the Rundles released their first documentary in 2004. Over the next 2 decades, the Rundles directed their area of expertise on the history of the Midwest and Wisconsin, such as the Amish incident, Wisconsin versus Yoder, as well as examining collecting 5 Mid-America Emmys and other awards and grants. Now, the Rundles aim not only to tell the story of the fires and examine the damages that occurred, but to find the significance of the story today. Quote, "The thing is, we focus on history. History is only meaningful to us if we understand how we are connected to it," Rundle told the Peshtigo Times. Peshtigo American Firestorm is going to tell a local story to a wider audience by combining vintage photos, artist renderings, limited reenactments, and archival materials with eyewitness accounts and perspectives from present-day historians and scholars.
Eyewitness accounts, where are they going to get that from?
I don't know. Maybe they were written down back in the day.
I would hope,
where are they going to find an 1871 eyewitness? Drag them up. All right, when you're thinking, well, Brian, maybe zombie interviews. I don't want to get into that. Let's just spin the wheel.
Springfield. All right, trains play a huge part in the history of this country. Now the people of Springfield will get a chance to enjoy a large piece of that history. A 1385 steam locomotive is nearing the end of its renovation, and in the coming months will be readied for its return this year to the Mid-Continent Railway Museum in central Sauk County. The renovation took a spectacular, time-consuming, and meticulous $3 million effort, including about $1.5 million from the Wagner Foundation. The Chippewa Herald reported that if things go according to plan, the steam engine that 3 times hauled the Great Circus train from Baraboo to Milwaukee will once again be pulling passenger cars filled with tourists and train buffs along the museum's 4-mile track by the summer of 2026. The locomotive was built in 1907 by the American Locomotive Company's Schenectady Works. Schenectady, okay. In New York for the Chicago and Northwestern Railroad, and is considered vital for the future of the museum, which since 2008 has battled 2 floods, debt, and a pandemic. The nonprofit's museum collection is focused on railroad equipment from between 1885 and 1915, when steam locomotives moved 90% of the nation's passengers and freight.
If you're interested in trains at all, text SPIN to the Siding Unlimited talk and text line 855-616-1620. Read this whole story about how they're going to have to move it from where it's being renovated to the museum, and more of the history of the locomotive. It's really fascinating. And you can always listen to Spinning the State wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's WTMJ.com or all your other podcast outlets. So do that. When we come back, we've got so much to talk about, and we are going to find out. Kristin has come across a conundrum. Which came first, the egg or the wing? And why are we paying so much for one and not the other? We'll get to that and more after this on Spanning the State.
On Wisconsin's Morning News, we profile the average John or Jane Doe who had no idea when they got up one morning that they'd be saving a life, becoming everyday heroes. Olympic kite surfer Bruno Lobo.
I heard someone screaming, and then I recognized that was someone drowning. I can use this sport to save a life, so yeah, this is my biggest trophy.
Everyday Hero, Thursdays at 6:40 on Wisconsin's Morning News, presented by Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, transforming the culture of care.
It's the biggest door in your house. Time to give it the attention it deserves. Vince Vitrano here talking about Lifetime Door Company in Brookfield. Updating your garage door increases the value of your home. It's the first thing people see, and it's the best return for your money on investment. At Lifetime Door, if you have an emergency, they'll come out 7 days a week to service existing garage doors and openers. 5% off any service or install at Lifetime Door Company in Brookfield. Get started now, 262-783-4004, lifetimedoor.net.
Are you ready to embark on a voyage like no other? At Fox World Travel, our specialty cruise desk creates unforgettable cruise experiences just for you. Explore the serene Mediterranean, the exotic Caribbean, or the breathtaking beauty of Alaska. We partner with top cruise lines including Celebrity, Holland America, Royal Caribbean, and Viking. Enjoy personalized itineraries, exclusive deals, and expert guidance. From booking to boarding, we manage all the details for a stress-free experience. Call 866-GO-FOX-GO, press 2, and mention code radio to start planning.
At Semper Fi, we do the right thing. We seize the moral high ground, and we hold it. And when you do that, you end up having a business that's going to last for generations.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi!
Amazon Business offers smart business buying solutions, so you can spend more time growing your business and less time doing the admin. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
It is Spanning the State. I'm Brian Noonan.
And I am Kristin Brey.
You posited a riddle of sorts to us this morning when we were planning the show, and it made me stop for a second. Now, I'm sure there's going to be some people who immediately know the answer. But we did not.
But, I mean, we've been talking about egg prices for a while, and this was in the lead up to the Super Bowl. But the question of why have egg prices been going through the roof, but chicken wings, very popular dish, especially for a Super Bowl or sports watching in general, that the prices of chicken wings are basically the same.
Now, all the poultry farmers are like, how do you not know this?
I know.
But
do you think we have a lot of poultry farmers who listen to us?
We're huge. Well, unfortunately, they don't have a lot to do anymore.
Well, yeah.
So they've got some time on their hands, which is sad. But there might be some.
But yeah, so basically, NPR looked into this, and the reason that chicken and egg prices have not moved in tandem has to do with the fact that avian flu basically affects the birds, the chickens who lay eggs more than those who are raised for their meat. So chickens who are raised from meat, I guess they're known as broilers.
Broilers.
Did not know that. They live on different farms than those who produce eggs. And so while broilers are not immune from having avian flu, they haven't been hit nearly as hard as the egg laying. I don't know if are they cousins? Are they siblings? Are they
probably not siblings? Maybe cousins, probably. Maybe.
And this is the other thing. I remember once when I was living in New York, there was a French restaurant that specifically focused on chicken.
Okay.
So chicken dishes.
Poulet?
Yes. And it was the first time I'd ever seen this, but they had the age of the chicken you were ordering.
Oh, I wouldn't want to see that.
And most of them, so the fact that some were 150 days old was considered old, right? So this is the thing. The broilers are much younger than the laying egg chickens. And so the older birds are more susceptible to the virus than younger birds. Broiler chickens basically don't live on the farm that long. And so that always stuck out to me. It's basically 7 weeks. That's how fast they turn out chickens for consumption versus, a chicken that can lay an egg. You can
gotta stick around for a while.
Yeah. And so, so then basically the short life cycle means that a flock of broilers, when they're lost to the flu, they can be replaced fairly quickly because if you think about it, they're getting replaced fairly quickly as far as instead of being the producer.
I am stuck on this restaurant example that you used. Was there a different pricing scale?
No, I forgot exactly. I just remember because I had
it's-
never seen it like that
Yeah,
before,
me
and it was a
either.
reminder of how short chickens' lives are. But I think it was also the older they were, the bigger they were.
Okay.
Right? Because if they have a longer time to actually mature, I think the reason why they put the age of the chicken on there was to emphasize how much meat you were going to get.
Was it like a children's menu for children chicken?
No, it's definitely not a children's menu. But it was, yeah. And
Wow,
so that just popped in my head as far as I can't even remember what the name of the restaurant was. It was good. It was a very good restaurant. The food was excellent.
Did you pick, did they instruct you or give you some guidance on what age you should pick? I'm just, I've never seen
wasn't
this.
like a sommelier being this 127-year-old or day-old chicken really pairs well with the wine.
Okay,
there wasn't that. There was just.
I would not want to see that on any menu.
So are you someone who? Here's a story. So how people will buy if they have the freezer space,
right?
Will buy a cow.
Sure.
And then the butcher will chop it up and they can put it on. They can know, and the benefits of that. One, you get a ton of meat,
right?
Probably for a better cost, and all of the parameters of that animal, right? As far as being hormone free and grass fed and all of the healthy things that you want to actually be in your food.
Sure.
So my mom did this once for 1 year. They got a quarter. They got a quarter of a cow. I think they split. Maybe they got a half and they split it with another family because it ends up being a lot, right?
Yeah.
You need a lot of freezer space. And this poor woman, she shows up to, I don't know, the farm, the place where they were both slaughtering the animals and giving you your order.
Oh, man. Okay.
And she went to the wrong entrance. And this poor woman, this is a woman who, if it were not for my dad wanting to eat meat, would probably be a vegetarian, right? She loves animals.
Yeah.
She feeds the ducks every day, which you're not supposed to do. She loves animals. So this poor woman goes to the wrong entrance. And instead of going to the entrance where you go and get your delivery, she sees the cows being led to their demise. And she said she just started bawling in her car.
Oh, no.
And the thing is, it's if that is the reaction you get from thinking about your food being killed or the state of your food, and you just want to ignore the process of what it takes to get our food because it's makes you feel icky. Maybe you should be a vegetarian, right? I think if you're I don't want to know how old they were. I don't want to know where they came from.
I know where they came from. I know how they got there. I don't need their biography. I love animals too. I understand the process of getting a hamburger to my plate. I don't want to have to do it. I don't want to think about it while I'm enjoying it, but I'm cognizant of, of how
she
it goes.
is too. But
right? No. It just, I'm not saying your mom doesn't know.
So what makes you uncomfortable about knowing how old the chicken is?
I don't know. I mean, listen. What's a chicken going to do if it lives another couple weeks? Nothing. So it's not like I feel they're missing out on something. I'm not anamorphizing these chickens and making them into humans going, oh, I was just about to start kindergarten and now you're broiling me for this woman in New York. Not that. It's just, I don't know. There's something about that. I know the chickens are jammed into little coops unless they're free range. I know it's horrible. So maybe I don't want to, I don't know why exactly. It just hits me weird.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like it's the same thing for my mom. She didn't want to have to see the cow being strolled off for its death. I think there's it gives you a reminder oh, this was a living thing at one point. It makes you uncomfortable.
Sure. Well, just the age part. I don't know why I need to know that. What does it matter? I've been eating chicken for decades. I don't know if they're old, if they're young, if they're spry, if they were gimpy on the farm. I don't know any of that. And I'm fine with it because I know the end result for a chicken is to be
your plate.
Is my plate. And
or avian flu, apparently. That's where we are today. All right, well, we'll come back with more on Spanning the State after this.
The only place to get this.
And the Bucks will get out of here with a 103-101 win like bank robbers in the night.
With some of this.
There were no questions about what Chris Middleton could give you in the playoffs. I mean, look at last year. And that is, I think, the question that you have with this group.
Get it all on Bucks Talk, your all-encompassing Milwaukee Bucks postgame show with Justin Garcia and Brandon Snide. Only heard here on the home of the Bucks, WTMJ.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Hi, folks. This is Hank Albert, owner of BBC Lighting. At BBC, we sell all the top brands of lights and ceiling fans, such as Visual Comfort, Tech, Schoenbeck Crystal, and hundreds more. We get every brand, and our prices are the lowest. I guarantee it. In our award-winning showroom, you'll also find factory closeouts with lights and fans priced well below their original cost. If it's lampshades or repairs you need, we do all that too. There's something for everyone at BBC, including fun for the kids and our famous free popcorn. We're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturday, 10 to 4, and located at 20th and St. Paul Avenue, across from Sobelman's, near the Potawatomi Casino. Stay safe and healthy, my friends.
Just like most cars and trucks can't run without oil, no person can function without food. That's why, through March 1st, the Auto Dealers of Metro Milwaukee is contributing $1 from every oil change to Feeding America, Eastern Wisconsin. Every dollar provides 3 healthy meals. Over the past 14 years, Adam has provided more than 2.6 million meals to people in southeast Wisconsin. And now, the need is greater than ever. Find a participating Adam dealer near you at adamm.com.
Chicken head.
Rhea, I love that you're covering your face in embarrassment that you can't believe you just played this song to bring us back.
I'm impressed that you found this song to bring us back.
What is this song?
It's Project Pat with Chicken Head.
What is a chicken head?
It's a dance move.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought chicken head was like a derogatory term at one point.
Well, that too.
Okay. Not safe for air?
Nah, probably not.
Okay. What if you had to describe what the chicken head dance move looks like? How would you describe it?
It's kind of like the dance. I think.
Does it look
don't
exactly
quote me on
like
this,
it
to think
sounds?
No, God, no.
Oh,
It's like the
all right,
chingy
see?
with the
shoulders. You gotta describe it. This is an audio medium.
I know.
And you're also
kinda
not
move
on
your arms
camera.
with your shoulders, and they kind of go in and then out.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what when Tania was here earlier for our Giving Tuesday, and she was talking about hot girl karaoke. I want to be like, maybe Rhea can choreograph a dance.
I would love that.
God knows I'm not gonna be able to sing, but maybe if I could, might dance my way through hot girl karaoke.
It sounds like that's a ringer night. Like if you're not
if
you're not a good
I think
singer,
you show up and you're like, oh, this was supposed to be fun, and you're like, oh, I'm getting shown up by everyone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit myself down.
after the first couple women sing, you go, I'm out.
Like everyone knows like every word to like every Nicki Minaj song and like doesn't screw up.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna participate. I'm gonna cheerlead.
You
I
know
don't
super
blame you.
bass?
Could I do it? No.
You could sing along to it.
I could sing along to it, but I can't. I can't rap.
That's not karaoke though. Singing along.
Like I've never been able to even if I know all the words, like do it and also do it with enthusiasm versus like struggling.
Do you guys have a karaoke song you like to listen to or sing?
My go-to karaoke song is Proud Mary by Tina Turner.
Oh, that's a good one.
Not that I can really sing it, but I can do enthusiasm there because I just do a lot of dancing and go for it.
Mine is Great Balls of Fire.
Oh.
I could do that one passably. I don't want to say pretty well because then people go, oh really? Let's see. People aren't fleeing the room when I sing.
Okay.
It. Mostly because they're hammered.
What about you?
Don't Stop Me Now.
By Queen?
Queen, yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
Good crowd pleaser.
That is a
Well,
good
sure, yeah.
Is that one that repeats itself a lot?
Slightly.
No.
Because I feel like that's sometimes like Three Dog Night, Joy to the World. You forget that the last 2 minutes of that song
just repeating.
is just Joy to the World. And you're like, can I sit down? Like I forgot that this is the same. This is not as much fun when I do it. And it's not a full band and the actual band that's doing it. I'm going to cut it short.
I missed when karaoke first started over here. We had people do it. You just go up and people would sing. Now it's almost a showcase for people who are really good singers. So if you can't sing, it kind of embarrasses you like you were before. Like you wouldn't sing in public before, but now you kind of can. Like ABC News and local headlines.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The FDA official tasked with ensuring safety in the nation's food supply has resigned. Here's ABC's Brian Clark.
Jim Jones told the acting FDA commissioner he was looking forward to pursuing the department's agenda to reduce diet-related chronic disease and risks from chemicals from food, but says he's resigning because of what he called the indiscriminate firing of about 89 people. A source confirmed to ABC News he told the acting commissioner it would have been fruitless to continue.
Israel says it will keep some troops in 5 controlled outposts of southern Lebanon, defying the deadline for a total withdrawal under the peace deal with Hezbollah. The Lebanese government slamming that move, calling it a violation of the agreement. In Canada, the investigation continues into the Delta plane that flipped yesterday after landing at Toronto Pearson Airport. Everyone on board survived. Authorities say 19 of the 21 hospitalized have been released, and a cold blast stretches from the southeast to New England today. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited News Time is 2:31. I'm John Mercure. Governor Tony Evers delivering his biennial budget address in Madison tonight. The governor has already laid out several spending priorities, including more than $500 million to support child care for working families and $500 million to reform the state's correctional system. Republican leaders will issue their response to the address immediately after. A toddler is dead after a shooting late yesterday near 39th and Sheridan on Milwaukee's north side. 4-year-old Jadania Little of Milwaukee died of her injuries at the hospital. Police are ruling her death a homicide. 2 people are in custody. The shooting is one of 2 overnight in the city. And no charges against officers in a Chippewa County death. The district attorney found that deputies acted in self-defense after responding to a domestic disturbance on December 21st. 49-year-old Matthew Luke of Chippewa Falls fled the scene after firing several rounds at a house. He later crashed his car and fired at police, hitting one squad car and an armored truck. Police returned fire, killing Luke in the process. Time for news about your money. Here's the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. In the red, mostly. The Dow is down 82 points. The NASDAQ is off 46 points. The S&P is up 1 point on the day. Financial planning at every level, Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. All right, let's check out those roads. Looking at the map right now, it is quiet, no significant delays or slowdowns. And your WTMJ 5-day forecast, a cold weather advisory begins at midnight, runs until 10 a.m. for all of southeast Wisconsin. Tonight it's going to be clear and very cold. A low of 8 below inland, 3 below along the lake. Wind chills down to 25 below. Tomorrow, partly to mostly cloudy with flurries, a high of 14. Thursday, cloudy, a high of 23. Friday, sunny 25. Saturday, partly cloudy 30. Sunday, we could be at almost 40 degrees. Right now in Madison, mostly clear skies and 7 degrees. In Green Bay, lots of sunshine and 10 degrees. In Milwaukee, sunny skies and 10 degrees. I'm John Mercure, Outdoor Living Unlimited News Time, 2:33.
You're right, and I'll agree. It does sound too good to be true. But offering you affordable treatment that alleviates pain, which really does work, that we've seen in most cases insurance paid for in full, is a definite reality. It's pain relief, really. And these are FDA-approved treatments. They're safe and proven to reduce inflammation and alleviate pain. Yeah, you'll have to get a couple of shots, and I know that can scare people. But the needle is extremely small. And after giving shots like this hundreds of thousands of times, you'll see we make it very easy. You're going to feel the relief that our powerful pain relief agents give you. They're pain relief drugs that solve pain problems. And the way I feel is that Rejuvenex should be the first stop for anyone living with pain in shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees. At $65 per joint, per injection, it's probably the most affordable pain relief option available that actually works.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex Google reviews will tell you more.
I'm Tony Drake from Drake & Associates. Taxes in retirement could take a bigger bite out of your savings than ever before. With a rising tax environment, many retirees are worried about running out of money. At Drake & Associates, we understand those fears, and we're here to help you feel more confident about your retirement. That's why we're offering a free retirement toolkit and a copy of my book, Get Retirement Ready, to help you take control of your financial future. Don't let rising taxes catch you off guard. Text TAX to 414-897-9522 to claim your free resources. That's TAX to 414-897-9522.
Drake & Associates is an independent investment advisory firm that offers different investment vehicles. All insurance products are backed by the issuing insurance company. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I'm Kristin Brey.
And I'm Brian Noonan. And every time we elect a new president, we hear a lot about executive orders during the first few weeks of their terms. In the United States, an executive order is a directive by the president that manages operations of the federal government. What does that mean exactly? Yesterday, we got the facts on the Department of Education, and today we're going to get the nitty-gritty on executive orders, and who better to give us a tutorial than Howard Schwaber. Howard is an expert in constitutional law and American politics. He is Professor Emeritus, Political Science and Legal Studies at UW-Madison's Law School. He's been with us before, and we are happy to have him back. Howard, thanks for taking some time today.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, can you give us a history of executive orders? When did they start? How did they become as, it seems, popular as they are now?
Popular is an understatement. One could start almost anywhere, but the easiest place is to start after World War II. So after World War II, for all sorts of reasons, there was a pattern that emerged that was sometimes called the imperial presidency, an increasing tendency on the part of Congress to delegate authority to the president and to the executive branch, to the point where really very large swaths of areas of decision-making that are traditionally thought of as being the province of Congress have been turned over to the executive branch. So executive orders come into play in the way that you described in the opening when you said correctly, that presidents can give executive orders to tell the executive branch how to do things. The specific popularity of executive orders, though, really took off again to an even greater degree in recent years because Congress has been so gridlocked. And President Obama is the perfect example with his famous, or infamous if you like, executive order extending immigration amnesty to Dreamers. Earlier in his presidency, Obama had given an interview where he said, I can't do this by executive order. I'm not a king. I'm only a president. Only Congress can do that. 2 years later, he turned around and issued the executive order anyway. And in each presidency that followed that, Trump and then Biden and now Trump again, the tendency to rely on executive orders has only become bigger and bigger. And at this point, they are used routinely by presidents in matters of enormous policy consequence that go far, far beyond the sort of management in an office management sense of the executive branch and go to directly asserting the authority of the president to make law, essentially. And thus far, at least, Congress has shown no inclination to push back against that.
Well, that leads me to wonder if these executive orders would decrease if Congress were less deadlocked. Is there that correlation? Can that be made?
Absolutely. I would say deadlocked and also spineless seems a bit strong. So Congress being deadlocked leads to a situation where, well, let's go back to that Dreamer bill, for example, and there were others, where there was widespread support in Congress for that bill, but it couldn't get to the floor because of partisan maneuvering among the leaderships. And in lots of instances, there is just such deadlock in Congress that urgently needed policy actions are impossible. So in that situation, presidents of both parties have used executive orders to step in and do what, in their view, needed to be done. But it's also the case, and this is crucially important, that for years, and again, this goes to both parties, Congress has failed to exercise its role in checks and balances and limit the discretion of presidents. Congress can pass a law that overturns any executive order. But even when there's been divided control of government, Congress has been consistently unwilling to do that, partly because it's often easier for members of Congress to let the president take the political heat for doing something than taking responsibility for it themselves.
Have they ever done it? Has Congress ever overturned an executive order?
It's really rare. It's more often the case that they've passed legislation that has subsumed an executive order, that is, pursued the same policy goal in a broader and more authoritative way and turned the matter over to an executive agency. But in the modern era, no, I'm not aware of any situation of a direct clash.
Okay.
Sorry, it seems like there's a lot of confusion with people as to whether executive orders have the power of law. Are they actually laws? Are there some that could become law? Where does that stand?
Right. They're closer to regulations. So there are laws unless and until Congress or a court says otherwise.
Okay.
When we were all in middle school, we all learned that Congress makes the laws and creates the policies, and the executive carries them out.
Right.
That hasn't been strictly true for a very long time, and recent presidencies in particular have seized control over policymaking. The Trump presidency is extreme, even by modern standards. Both in the first term and especially in this term, Trump has asserted a constitutional theory that says the president should be the main policymaker, and he should have direct control over the entire executive branch in order that it can carry out his policy preferences. And the Supreme Court, under Chief Justice Roberts, in a number of cases in the last 10 years, has agreed with that proposition to one degree or another. So what we're really facing here, with respect to executive orders, with respect to the firing of employees, really across the board, is an attempt to reshape the constitutional landscape to make the president outside the control of Congress in pursuing his policy agenda. That's what's at the heart of all of what's going on. Executive orders are a key mechanism to achieve that goal. And I'm sorry, but getting back to your question, are they law? They function as law unless and until a higher authority says otherwise, and the higher authorities in question can only be Congress or the U.S. federal courts.
And that's what we're waiting on now for a number of these, right? That have so many of them have been challenged immediately. And the question is, will the courts come in and say what is within the range of his power and what is not, right?
Exactly. And, frankly, I think the Trump administration wants all of these issues to reach the Supreme Court because I think they think that the court is on their side and will give them what they want. And I think they're probably right in many of the cases, but not all of them. So just a quick example, Trump issued an executive order ending birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment, the principle that says anyone born in the United States is a citizen of the United States. I think he'll lose that one. I think the Supreme Court will think that for the president to say he has the authority to interpret the Constitution in a way contrary to the way courts have interpreted it, I think the Supreme Court will say that's a reach too far. But on the matters involving dismissal of agency heads, controlling of expenditures, controlling of staff within the federal government, I suspect Trump will win many of those arguments, and the result will be a really radically reshaped system of governance.
Has there ever been an effort to limit the amount of executive orders that a president can sign? I mean, it bothered me when you said the imperial right, because that conjures up the vision of a king being able to do. And this is, again, for both parties. Has there ever been listen, there's got to be a limit, or does that come down to Congress as well?
That entirely comes down to Congress. There was one period in recent history when Congress did really seriously try to limit the discretion of the president, and that was during the Nixon administration. And if you think about the history of the administration, you can easily see why. But at that time, across a variety of areas, including both military decision-making and, crucially, expenditure of money, Congress passed laws saying, no, the president may not do X, no, the president may not do Y. And most importantly, Congress passed a law called the Anti-Impoundment Act that said the president may not instruct federal agencies to refuse to spend money allocated by Congress. So Congress allocates money, let's just choose an imaginary example, not very imaginary actually, but Congress allocates money to the Environmental Protection Agency to do what it sees, what it thinks is best to protect the environment. The president says, no, I don't like that cause, don't spend any of that money, don't do anything. The Anti-Impoundment Act said the president couldn't do that. Trump is directly challenging that law. He's defying that law. His executive order freezing expenditures was unquestionably in violation of the Anti-Impoundment Act. But Trump's position is that that law is unconstitutional, and that as president, it's appropriate and proper for him to refuse to carry out a law that he views as unconstitutional. And J.D. Vance, in a speech just a couple days ago, explained why. He said any effort by Congress or the courts to limit the president's authority to carry out his agenda should be viewed as contrary to the Constitution. So Trump is doing something we have not seen before in a president, which is a kind of declaration of constitutional supremacy, and at least rhetorically thus far, a willingness to defy both of the other branches. Nixon did not go that far, which is a remarkable comparison if you think about it. Now, we don't know how this will play out, of course. Thus far, the Trump administration has not openly defied a court order. They've challenged them, they've appealed them, but they haven't simply outright refused to accept them. Okay. It's hard to imagine the president defying Congress outright if Congress ever were to stand up to him, and it's possible that will happen. Republican as well as Democratic congressmen care about their institution and care about their own political futures, and that could become a problem going forward. So this is just getting started. But the Trump administration's steps with these executive orders have sort of laid down the stakes or opened up a very high stakes, my metaphor got lost, sorry, opened up a very high stakes game challenging the existing rules.
So, Professor Schwaber, as a constitutional expert, I feel like the term constitutional crisis has been thrown out a lot, at least in the last 2 weeks. Where do you feel like that line is when people are talking about a constitutional crisis?
Right, so there's no technical definition, of course. I think we're in the midst of an attempt at a constitutional revolution,
okay,
which may be a good thing. I mean, we use the word radical as though it's always bad. Radical just means a very, very sharp change from what we've done.
Okay.
This would be a very sharp change, what we've done since at least the 1930s. So that's radical. I wouldn't call it a crisis unless and until we get to the point that the Supreme Court orders something or Congress passes a new law, in response to what's going on right now, and Trump says, I don't care what you say, I'm going to do what I want. If that were to happen, that would be a genuine crisis. And my use of the term crisis is, at that point, we would have to test the question of whether the Constitution can be preserved. I don't think we're there yet. I do think we're in the middle of an attempt to reshape the landscape in dramatic and lasting ways.
But one follow-up to that, but doesn't the president have to sign any new law? So what would he actually be defying if Congress were to pass something?
Well, for example, he could refuse to sign it and Congress could override his veto.
Oh, got it. Okay.
All right. Perfect.
And then he could say, I refuse to abide by this law. Or, I mean, we get into the realm of science fiction here, but certainly theoretically, the president could order the military to take some action. I mean, you can run these scenarios as far as you want. I don't think we're anywhere near anything like that. But the fact that people are talking about it, I think, is indicative that people like me who spend a lot of time studying this question and thinking about it are kind of in shock. None of us ever thought we'd live to see the day when the basic structure of the constitutional structure of how the federal government works, that's been in place for most of a century, would be called into question.
Well, Professor Howard Schwaber, I always feel like I learned enough to get about 2 credits. Anytime you call, it's always informative, always great to talk to you. Thank you again for your insight today, and I'm sure we'll be talking again soon.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Take care. All right, let's do this. Then there's more. It's Spanning the State.
When you're due for tire service, visit richlands.com for the location nearest you.
We'll give you a free flat tire repair on every tire we install. No questions asked. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands. You're due for service.
Richlands. Hi, this is John Neal, CPA and founder of the Neal Group. Happy New Year. How's business? Do you really know? We recently worked with several clients who thought they knew, but they didn't because their books were not in order. Imagine thinking you were making $1 million, but because your books are a mess, you were really only making $200,000. Quite a difference. Imagine finding out expenses were not recorded properly or sales were double recorded. If these happen to you, we can help. We work with our clients to clean up their books and give them the information they need to know where their business is now and where it is going in the future. Don't wait. Start on the path to less stress, more cash in your pocket, and no more sleepless nights. Call us at 414-325-2040 or visit nealgroup.net today to book a meeting. We can talk over Zoom, the phone, in our office, or your place of business. Yes, we like to visit our business clients. Don't wait any longer. Call 414-325-2040 or visit nealgroup.net.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Kristin Brey, and if you're looking for a new dentist, you should check out my dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Economowoc Dental Care. Dr. Michaels is committed to providing you with the highest level of care possible. I can assure you that he will prioritize your needs, no matter how sensitive, just like he did with mine. If you're due for a dental visit, Economowoc Dental has an $89 new patient special, so you can get the care that you need at an affordable price. In addition to my exam, Dr. Michael's staff provided a gentle professional cleaning that left my mouth feeling smooth and rejuvenated. We all have to go to the dentist, so do not put it off any longer. Check out Economowoc Dental Care at drmichaelsdentalcare.com or give them a call at 262-567-7224. If you want to start feeling confident about your smile, go see my dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Economowoc Dental Care.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Anti-Heartbreak Officer Brian Wickert. While national headlines talk about the inventory of homes for sale being a lot higher this year, that's still not the case in most of Wisconsin. The good news is that now, even in winter, AccuNet's experienced loan consultants are already helping many of our pre-approved home shoppers become homeowners and avoid the heartbreak of losing in a multi-offer situation. Sure, you can go with a flimsy, unimaginative bank pre-approval, or you can present your offer with an AccuNet rock-solid, fully verified, and guaranteed pre-approval that also might come with the phrase that really makes sellers happy: no appraisal required. When an appraisal is needed, we can also show you in dollars and cents what it means to willingly pay a certain dollar amount over the appraised value if that's what's needed to win, which is usually a lot less scary than people imagine. Reduce your risk of home shopper heartbreak by getting started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Welcome back to Spanning the State. I'm Kristin Brey.
I'm Brian Noonan. You've already got a cold. You're not planning on being outside a lot today, are you?
No.
These are the kind of days but I know driving home you're going to see somebody out walking around. Maybe somebody jogging, trying to impress everybody. Look at me, I'm such an athlete.
I feel like it's not even safe to be outside right now.
It's not. That is a good point. That's why I bring this up. Now, experts say, and it's different for adults and kids. So experts say, and they didn't say this part, but if you're crazy enough to want to go outside on a day like this, and I'm not talking about people who have to work out here, I'm talking about, that's the thing. With a wind chill, minus 18 or more, you cannot be outside for a long time. And we have wind chills now that are going to get down to minus 35. Oh. So, think about it. you don't have to do it. You can miss a day. They say if it's this cold, you should take all your activities inside. And I didn't know this, but it makes sense as I think back to school. The National Weather Service says if the wind chill is below 32, not 32 below, just regular old 32, little kids should not be outside. Little kids should be inside doing all their exercise and all their fun.
If the wind chill is below 32
right.
degrees. So like sledding and stuff? Like how little are we talking about?
Well, when the wind chill is 32 and above, this is for it just says kids. It doesn't really give an age, but it says it's because of the risk of frostbite. So it's safe for kids to be outside if the wind chill is above 32. In temperatures 13 to 31, 20 minutes. If the wind chill is 13 degrees or less, nothing outside because frostbite can set in so quickly.
Wow.
So don't send Frankie to the mailbox.
I feel like I played outside in the cold a lot as a kid.
Yes. And I never had, we always had like sandwich bags over our feet because our boots were not the greatest. We had rubber galoshes. This was before Thinsulate and all kinds of wonderful things. All right, let's do this. We'll come back and say goodbye. It's Spanning the State.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News is here for you, bringing you the latest headlines with John McCure.
You read this audit, and it's unbelievable, it's depressing, and it's sad.
And diving into the details with Julia
30
Fellow.
areas identified as problems. Kind of disturbing to see harmful internal culture. These people are educating our children.
Tune in to Wisconsin's Afternoon News, where your day's story unfolds. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. Only here on WTMJ.
Restaurant prices are soaring, but not at the Mine Shaft restaurant in Hartford. WTMJ's John Mercure here. One of my favorite places, family-owned for almost 50 years. I took my daughters there. Great memories. It's super affordable, and it's so much fun. Every Tuesday, the authentic Mexican buffet is all you can eat, and it's just $9.99. It's the best Tuesday dining value, $9.99. Kids 5 and under eat free today from that kids menu. They can safely play in the world-class game room, quietly tucked away from the dining area while you finish up your meal. Stop today after school. Check this out. The Wednesday all-you-can-eat fish fry is just $7.99. Whoa! That's crazy. From 2 till 5 today, beers, cocktails, and appetizers are half price. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and just off Highway 41 in Oshkosh, right near EAA. Walk in today for the Tuesday all-you-can-eat Mexican buffet for under $10. MineShaftRestaurant.com. It's the amazing Mine Shaft.
Outdoor Living Unlimited puts cool stuff in your yard. Patios, decks, pergolas, outdoor kitchens, screen rooms, even in-ground pools. You dream it, we design it together, then Outdoor Living Unlimited installs it for you. OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
The wait is over. Brewers baseball is back. Time to pick your Brewers games and get back to the ballpark for tailgate traditions and walk-off wins. Be here for opening day. Come back for the big games and the best giveaways. Where else would you want to be? Brewers tickets for the 2025 season are on sale now. That's opening day and every game, all summer long. Get on board for the show today. Grab your seats at brewers.com/ticket finder.
What we've found is that when you have workers who feel valued, you get better results. This is why good people and good culture should matter to anyone looking for an exterior remodeling company they can trust. It's going to be your experience and the end result that gives you peace of mind, because you'll know your work was done by people who care. We realized early on that if we were going to change the reputation of this industry for the better, that finding good workers that you could trust to do great work was going to be the key. We're attracting good people every day because we take care of our people. We want to make sure they feel important because they are. And we're going to make sure you feel important and valued too, with excellent customer service and high quality work. This is Brad Youngbluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company.